And it is one of the most difficult things you have to do as a leader of a startup. The thing that you are talking about is unfortunately really, really true, which is that the people who are there at the very, very, very beginning, it's unlikely they have the skills to be the same people who are there at the very, very end. And it is one of the most difficult things you have to do as a leader of a startup is you have somebody who has been there by your side at the very beginning, who you convinced to leave some great job and get paid less and get worse benefits. And they've worked tirelessly and they've worked nights and they've worked weekends to try and make this dream come true. And holy mackerel, the dream is actually coming true. You're starting to scale and starting to grow. And now you realize this person does not have the skills to stay in that position in this next stage of your growth. And you have to step back and go, where does my obligation really lie? Does my obligation to this person to be loyal, to say, oh, I had you as my VP of marketing from day one, so that means you get to stay VP of marketing forever? Or is my obligation to a broader group? Is it to my shareholders? Is it to my investors, to my business partners, to my customers, to my other employees to field the very, very best team I can? And unfortunately, that is the obligation. And you then have to sit that person down and explain, you are not the right person to take us in this next stage of our journey. And I'm either going to bring someone that you're going to report to, or if that's too painful, let's figure out a way to transition you out in a way that you will land on your feet even better than where you are here. And that is not a failure of the people. And it's not a failure of you as a hiring manager. It's the fact of life that the skill set required to get a company up and running, where you've got to wear 100 hats and be willing to change direction on a fly and be decent at a lot of things, is very different than the skills you want later on, when people can have deep domain expertise in a single area. And that's unfortunately part of the life cycle of a startup. And listen, I will state the very obvious here, is it's not just your team. It might be you. You have to look yourself in the mirror and say, I had the skills to take this crazy idea and figure out a way to get it going. And then to do the triage, to do the testing, to do the trial, to raise the money, to get this thing off its feet, to pivot. And lo and behold, we've got a repeatable, scalable model. But whoa, this shit is hard now. And more importantly, I don't like it very much. And I'm not very good at it. And if you have that self-awareness to say, I'm no longer the right person. And listen, I speak from authority here. I got to a point at Netflix where I realized I was not the right person to be the CEO of this company, which was growing at the speed it was growing. And more importantly, not only was I not good at it, I didn't like that kind of responsibility at that scale. And I realized that my dream, at least at Netflix, was not necessarily having me be the guy. My dream was to have a successful company, and that was my obligation to my shareholders and my customers and my employees. And so, which is why I am no longer, which is why I was the startup CEO, but I was not CEO forever. So, wow, often a long tangent, but the quick answer is you have to do it. The quick answer, it's not easy. But unfortunately, that's part of the price of success. Thanks for watching. And if you liked what you saw, I'd love you to subscribe. And if you want to be notified of my future releases, well, you know the drill. Just hit the bell.